Hello, and welcome back to my new and familiar faces. I hope you're having a safe and wonderful holiday season. I'm thrilled to start this holiday season off with a mini series called Christmas Classics, where I recreate a home from a traditional Christmas movie in The Sims, and then explain a bit of the story, maybe some fun facts about the film. Who knows what we'll talk about? We will aim to do 4 houses this month, so stay tuned to see what we do next. You can also leave a comment and request your favorite Christmas film house, and maybe I will create it, depending on the amount of people who ask and how popular of a choice it is. Otherwise, I'm going to do what I feel like doing. But feel free to request. Anyways, without further ado, you're now watching the creation of the home from A Christmas Story. Unfortunately, the only CC that I could find for the classic leg lamp broke my game. So I was unable to load my game after I added the leg lamp. So there is no leg lamp in this house. And I know that's like the centerpiece of what it should have. But it's not out there. It's not possible. And I don't know how to make it. So use your imagination. There's a lamp in the living room. Just pretend it's a leg, okay? All right. So let's talk about how A Christmas Story came to be. The movie A Christmas Story is arguably one of America's favorite holiday films. Over the years, this modest movie has grown into a holiday tradition. In the late 1960s, A Christmas Story director Bob Clark was driving to a date's house when he happened upon a broadcast of radio personality and writer Gene Shepard's recollections of growing up in Indiana in the late 30s and early 40s. Clark wound up driving around the block for almost an hour, glued to the radio until the program was over. My date was not happy, Clark said, but he knew right away he wanted to make a movie out of those stories. Clark's adaptation, however, didn't happen overnight. At that time, he was a journeyman director who specialized in low-budget B-movies. For years, Clark tried to find a studio to finance the film, but none were interested. Nevertheless, Clark held on to his ambition to bring Shepard's stories to the screen. And in 1981, he directed Porky's, which became a hit at the box office. Suddenly, he had some clout to bargain with. In the wake of that hit, the studio wanted a sequel to Porky's. Clark agreed to make a sequel if the studio agreed to let him do A Christmas Story first. The modestly budgeted little comedy opened in 1983, the week before Thanksgiving, on fewer than 900 screens. The film took in about $2 million its first weekend and double that Thanksgiving weekend. Solid business for the time. The movie was getting strong word-of-mouth support, but MGM hadn't counted on the movie receiving much success and did not schedule distribution to more than the opening screens for the lead-up to Christmas. Thus, A Christmas Story disappeared from theaters, abruptly elbowed into the theatrical void by the bigger seasonal studio movies of the day, most notably Scarface and Christine. Ultimately, A Christmas Story collected about $19 million at the box office. It was a good showing, but not great. At the same time, however, home video and cable television were just beginning to grow in popularity, and A Christmas Story crept into the mainstream through videotape and cable broadcasts. The rights to the movie were sold in 1986 to Warner Brothers by MGM as part of a 50-movie package deal. In fact, MGM practically gave the movie away when it tossed A Christmas Story into the deal in order to simply meet the 50-movie quota agreed to. The cable network TNT first aired it, doing a 24-hour marathon as a stunt in 1988. But popular demand turned stunt into tradition. The annual marathon, now aired on TBS, starts every Christmas Eve and attracts more than 40 million people who tune in at some point to watch. A Christmas Story is now one of the most popular holiday movies of all time, earning a place alongside It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street. Now that you know how A Christmas Story came to be, let's look at some fun facts about the movie. The movie was actually filmed in Cleveland, Ohio, and Toronto, Ontario. The house from the movie is located just outside of downtown Cleveland. The Christmas tree shopping scene and many of the inside shots of the house were filmed in Toronto, Ontario. One of Toronto's trademark red trolleys can be seen driving by the shot of the outside of the tree lot. Ralphie's school exteriors were filmed at Victoria School in St. Catharines, Ontario. To find an American city resembling an Indiana town of the 1940s, director Clark sent his location scouts to 20 cities before selecting Cleveland, Ohio, as the site for filming. The decision to film in Cleveland was due to the willingness of Higbee's, an actual department store, to allow the movie to be filmed inside the store. In addition to providing the voiceover narration, writer Gene Shepard had a cameo appearance in the movie as a grouchy department store customer who tells Ralphie to go to the back of the Santa line. Director Bob Clark has a brief cameo appearance as Swede, the Parker family's dim-witted neighbor with a southern accent who stops to marvel at the leg lamp from across the street. The role of Mr. Parker, Ralphie's father, was originally offered to Jack Nicholson, who reportedly was interested in playing the part. Director Clark, however, lobbied hard for Darren McGavin. The producers, worried about Nicholson's typically large salary requests, eventually approved McGavin. For the scene in which Flick's tongue sticks to the flagpole, a hidden suction cup was used to safely create the illusion that his tongue had frozen to the metal. Author Gene Shepard's concept for the major award leg lamp was based on a real lamp, an illuminated Nahi logo. The style of the leg lamp for A Christmas Story was created by production designer Reuben Freed, who had never before seen or heard of a leg lamp. 3 leg lamps were made for the movie, and all were broken on set during the filming. The Radio Orphan Annie decoder pin that Ralphie receives in the 1940 Speedomatic model indicates that the movie takes place in December 1940. Different decoder badges were made each year from 1935 to 1940. By 1941, the decoders were made of paper due to World War II metal shortages. Some of the snow used during the scenes between the kids and the bullies was actually soap flakes and firefighters' foam. The stars later remarked that they were slipping and sliding during the filming of these scenes. The film was released just before Thanksgiving and became a surprise hit. By the time Christmas rolled around, the movie had already been pulled from most theaters because it had been played out. After complaints were lodged at the theater owners and the studio, the film played on select screens until after the first of the year, 1984. A Christmas Story inspired the creation of the Wonder Years television show. Prior to A Christmas Story, Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, gained fame as a correspondent for the variety show, Real People. He also played Messy Marvin in Hershey's chocolate syrup commercials. Peter is now a producer, often working with his close friends Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. His credits as a producer include Iron Man and The Breakup. He often appears in cameo roles in the movies he produces. For anyone keeping count, Ralphie says he wants the Red Ryder BB gun 28 times throughout the course of the movie. That's approximately once every 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And hey, the next time you're in Cleveland, you can visit the original house from the movie, which is what I got a lot of my inspiration from. It was sold on eBay in 2004 for $150,000. Collector Brian Jones bought the house and restored it to its movie glory and stocked it up with some of the original props from the film, including Randy's snowsuit. The real Red Ryder BB gun was first made in 1938 and was named after a comic strip cowboy. You can still buy it today for the low price of $39, but the original wasn't quite the same as the one in the movie. It lacked the compass and sundial that both the Gene Shepard story and the movie call for. Special versions had to be made just for A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story led to 2 little talked about sequels. The first one was a 1988 made-for-TV movie, Ollie Hop Noodle's Haven of Bliss. Jerry O'Connell played 14-year-old Ralphie, who was excited about his first job as a furniture mover. My Summer Story, aka It Runs in the Family, debuted on the big screen in 1994. Kieran Culkin plays Ralphie. Mary Steinbergen is his mom, and Charles Grodin is his dad. And in 2012, the direct-to-video sequel, A Christmas Story 2, picked up 5 years after the original movie left off, with Ralphie attempting to get his parents to buy him a car. So yeah, I've never heard of any of those sequels, so that can probably show you how good they were compared to the original. Let's just stick to the original, right? So anyways, that's about all I have to say fact-wise and informational-wise for this Christmas Story build. So now you get to hear me just talk. Hope that's cool. I can explain a little bit about what I did in the build and how it went. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the information and the facts, fun facts about the movie. And don't forget, leave a comment and let me know what other Christmas film houses I should recreate. I'm going to try to get about 3 more, but just depends on my time and how my work goes because everything is crazy with Streamloots and amazing, but crazy. So I'm very, very busy and I hope I can get as much done as I want this month. also want to do some kind of like 12 Days of Christmas Sims thing, but I'm not sure how to go about that. I also was thinking maybe like 12 Days of Christmas to do with perlers, like giving away perlers or something. I don't know. You want to see anything in a perler, let me know. I'll see if I can figure out some way to make that happen. I don't know. I want to do something for I like I'm not doing Vlogmas or any of that like YouTubey stuff. So I want to have at least something that's like something I do for the 12 days leading up to Christmas. I'm not quite sure what yet. So any ideas, let me know. I'll be thinking about it probably tonight and tomorrow and figuring out my schedule for the rest of December. I think we have about 10 minutes left in this build. It is at 800% speed, so it's already going pretty fast. I didn't want to speed it up any faster because then you can't really see what's happening. 800 is like the sweet spot, I feel like. It's like fast enough. Like I would prefer like 600, but on builds like this that are kind of bigger and a little bit more tedious, I do tend to take hours to build them. I think this was probably good 4 or 5 hours, I think. So, yeah. You know how it goes. There are no platforms in this build, unfortunately. Platforms are great, but this was a pretty simple, kind of more classic style house, and there was no need for it. Check out my past couple builds if you want to see me using platforms, because that's a whole nother thing. It's fun and it's buggy. They really need to fix some stuff with platforms for sure. But not too bad, not too bad. This was a fun build. Christmas Story is such a classic that it was like the first one that popped into my mind. And like even just creating the shell of the house with the colors, people immediately could guess it on Twitter. So it's just shows how like iconic this house is. So I'm excited to see what people think of the full build and the full decorations and everything. Obviously, interior is similar. There are more rooms than I had pictures for of the house, so I kind of had to improvise. The top floor definitely is more improvised. The bottom floor, I don't know what the second bathroom was. Like I had one picture of one bathroom, but I didn't have pictures of any other bathrooms, so I just made the 2 bathrooms like kind of similar items and stuff, so you'll see that. The room I'm working on right now is the kids' room. So I thought I did a good job with that. They did have the sailboat wallpaper, but not in red. And I was like, I'm not gonna do blue or yellow or whatever. So I picked another like fun wallpaper that would kind of fit better. I don't know. It is what it is. Sometimes Sims just don't have what you need. And yeah, I was super disappointed that the leg lamp was like missing. Or not missing. It wouldn't work because it broke my game and I could not launch Sims when I had those 2 mods in. Everything else worked fine. Add those 2 mods and it broke. So, yeah, I'm not able to have that in the game, but maybe someone else can find a good version. I think it was really old, like 5 years ago, like someone made it. So it's just super outdated and just, yeah. A lot of stuff works still fine years later. A lot of CC I have still can work, but obviously that one does not, which is sad. But just imagine it, okay? That's use your imagination. I know you have some. Everyone does. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad of a build. Like I said, it was pretty simple, honestly. Like the hardest part is always like the main start of it. I feel like the layout and figuring out if I get things to scale at least somewhat from what pictures I had, like I did have like the Google Maps of the interior because it is a house that you can go into because it's like a museum and you can also stay there in those rooms as well, which is quite interesting. Like this room up here that I'm working on now is like random. It's not really related to any room I saw, but I mean, it was somewhat like it was related to a similar room picture that I saw, but it wasn't in this house. I think it was like the neighbor's house or something. I don't know. Something similar for that. And it just kind of fit in there with the shape of the room and all that because I had to make the other room um have that little bump in for the desk so that they could get to their desk with all the chairs there or with the beds there. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole process. You can download this on the gallery. It'll be a Christmas story on the Sims gallery under Pirate Queen Anna. Feel free to follow me, check me out on there. I post random shells, random builds, all the crazy amounts of builds I've done. They're all there. Even the friggin' Ohio State Reformatory Castle. That was probably like my proudest one in the sense of like it's different. Like my most different, proudest one. Because it's not just a house, it's like a castle and has like jail cells and all this cool stuff. Like it was definitely difficult for the Halloween series I did, which you should totally check out if you like creepy stuff, ghost stories and all that. But we're not here for that. This time we're talking about movies and happy holiday times and escaping from the world that is the world of 2020. You'll see here I like take out the floor and make this look a little bit better. Yeah, I felt like it was kind of weird, but we fixed it. We fixed it. You know, sometimes like you think you have your floor plan set, and then as you're building or as you're decorating, you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to change this. And I'm trying to fit. This lot was actually too small, but I didn't feel like moving it to a bigger lot to have more room to do the everything around like landscaping better. So I struggled a little bit here, just trying to make things fit and work. But we made it work in the end. Like it's not exactly accurate to the build in the outside. It is slightly. Like it's inspired by for sure, but it's not quite the same. Also, we can't have curved paths, which sucks because they have curved like brick pathing along the side of the house, which looks beautiful. And here I just do a straight path back because it's the only thing I could do. Yeah, I like messed with this for a while because I was like having to move things inside, make sure the door was centered because I couldn't put the staircase where I wanted. It had to be on the grid, right? You couldn't move it like partially off the grid. So I had to move everything around it to fit it. And then I forgot to put stairs here too. So yeah, we ended up putting stairs everywhere. There's 3 doors, 3 exits, so that's good. Then the landscaping. You see, I already started the brick a little bit. I forgot to record that part. Yeah, so I just did straight brick pathing. There's no way to do curved, and I don't feel like the terrain paint pathing isn't brick. It's just like this stone stuff. It doesn't work. All right. Anyways, yep. Did a couple of trees along the side. It's very awkward to get them to look natural, but you'll see what I do. I make it look like they're supposed to be there. I got rid of some of the pathing once I realized I need to put some bushes next to these trees so they don't look like they're just sitting there. So we did that. And yeah, not too bad for my first Christmas build, I think. And the inside, see what's interesting is like the inside isn't fully like super Christmassy or anything. Like there's a Christmas tree, but nothing else inside is Christmassy. So I don't know if the other builds I do will have more of the Christmas decor inside, but we will see. I don't remember. The Miracle on 34th Street was one of the options. Might do National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation one. Home Alone. Yes, I have to do Home Alone. I know everyone told me I had to do Home Alone, and I want to because the house is like this beautiful brick house, right? So I'm excited to build that one. Probably next. I don't know, or save that one for last. I can't decide. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, you're seeing now just the walkthrough of the build, kind of like interactive screenshots, so you can kind of see how everything turned out. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think and what other films, homes that you want to see me recreate. because this is our little mini Christmas classics mini series. So yeah, if you like the channel, make sure you like, thumbs up, all that, YouTube. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month, before the end of the year. So if you can help me out, share my channel with your friends. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video very soon. Bye bye.